Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
Yes, drugs and alcohol addiction is on the rise. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, resources for help seem to be more and more hard to find. You might be sitting there right now thinking, will my mother ever stop getting high or drinking so much? Will my father ever stop drinking so much or stop getting high? Will my brother or sister even get their life together? Is recovery even possible? For the next half hour, we hope that some of these stories will help answer some of those questions. Real people sharing real stories on the Ask the Messengers TV show begins now.
I don't know, man. I never know where to start about my story or whatever, but the truth of it is that I have good intentions. I always have had good intentions, you know. When the chick that I was dating had a miscarriage, I had the best intentions just to go to the car and smoke a cigarette and be right back. But that's not what happened. The thing of it is that when I got to the program, they started talking to my truth and telling me things like, once I cross a certain line, I won't be able to have any mental defense over the first drink. That was not evident to me when I was in the midst of my disease. But as I look back, man, hindsight is 20/20, and time after time again, penitentiary, jails, institutions, things of that nature was always part of my story. So when I got here, they told me things like, get a sponsor, get a home group, get a service commitment, read these steps, read this book. I'm gonna be honest with you, I read the book. I looked at it and I flipped through the pages and I was like, this might as well be the Bible, man. It's not even no pictures in this book, you know what I mean? And I set it apart from me, and I would go to the meetings and listen to the things that everybody else was saying. I was like, that's not me, that's not me. And I started sponsoring myself, you know? I started sponsoring myself, and I started doing the steps off the wall. I was able to put on a good front for a full 9 months, man. I was able to smile in everybody's face and be in everybody's meeting and hold your hand and laugh with you and things of that nature, but I was never able to have that true sense of peace and serenity that this book tells me about. And at 9 months, I remember coming to a meeting that I went to all the time, and they said something to me and I said something back, and everybody gave me a hug after the meeting. And the day after that, I came back to that meeting that I just got a hug from and said something so brilliant and made so many people believe that I had this program in the, you know, by the short and curlies. And I sat there next to a dude and I told him it's probably not a bad idea for me to play in traffic. It was that real, man, just that quick, just like that, with no drinks or no drugs. The unmanageability in my life was there again, and I was miserable. I was miserable to the point where I don't want to wake up in the morning again, and I felt it, and I couldn't understand how come it's like this, man. How come I'm sitting here with no drink and no drugs in my body? How come I'm still feeling this? And a dude pulled me to the side after the meeting, and he asked me, he said, do you pray? And I was like, well, you know, I pray, yeah. I pray over my food. He was like, do you hit your knees when you pray? And I was like, damn, who is you, the AA police? Do you hit your knees when you pray? And he was like, man, I'm gonna tell you something. You gotta humble yourself before your creator. Otherwise, your creator gonna humble you. I went home. Again, I was out of options, so I did what was suggested. And I went home and I prayed and I got on my knees and I got up in the morning, I prayed, I got on my knees. I did that for 2 days in a row, and man, the feeling was electric. I felt God's presence in my life finally. I felt like I was able to be present in just the moment. I didn't have a big house and a bunch of cars and all of this grandiose shit. I just felt good in the moment, finally. And I wanted more. So I went and found me a sponsor. And he told me, read the first 25 pages, and I did that. And he gave me some ideas and things to go along with. And he told me, man, that in this program, man, I gotta learn how to trust God, clean house, and help others. That's my reprieve. If I'm going to the doctor and the doctor tells me, he say, hey man, you got a life-threatening malady, you're gonna die. We can't get you cured, but we can get you to be recovered, to live like a normal man. But you gotta take insulin and check your blood sugar and change your diet. If I don't do those things, I'm gonna definitely die. But if I do those things regularly, I might have a chance at making it. And for me in this program, it's no different, man. The first 3 steps where I learn how to trust God. I can't, He can today I let Him. 4 through 9 is where I learn how to clean house. Mentally, physically, emotionally. The more shit that I can get outside of myself and I can let God's light fill me up. With this being a program of attraction, not promotion, how else am I going to let somebody know how great life is today? I let God's light fill me, and because they in the darkness, they going to see it and want a piece of it. 10 through 12 is where I learn how to help others. I got to continue to take that inventory. I got to continue to admit when I'm wrong promptly, like right away. You feel me? At first it was eventually, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I get around to it. But as my willingness grew in this program, my diligence grew, and so did my understanding of God. And I wanted more of it. I still yearn for that. The 11th step tells me that I sought through prayer and meditation to improve my conscious contact with my higher power. Or with God as I understand Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for me and the power to carry that out. And that's what it is, man. Power. I'm still looking for power. Before I ever picked up my first drink, I was powerless. Because once I found out what that drink could do for me, I used it like power, like ammunition. So I'm still praying for power to do things. The whole time that I've been in this program, I've been looking for power. When I put drink down, I was looking for power. I'm powerless. That's the thing that I understand today. And I pray to God for that. That's all I'm asking for, is the knowledge of what His will is for me and the power to carry it out. It don't matter what I think is good no more. I tried that for 9 months without doing this work, and life wasn't good. 12 step tell me that after having a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, that I continue to carry this message to the alcoholic who still suffers and practice these principles in all my affairs. My life is good today. I got a good family. I got a couple of kids. I got a career that's taking me places. I got a purpose, you know. I got dudes that call me on a regular basis the same way that I called my sponsor when I got here. I'm continuing to be of service. I'm overcommitted most times in my life. And I won't say no if somebody asks me to sponsor. If you're trying to get sober, man, get in the middle of it. That's it. Get you a home group and find out what you gotta do and get busy.
And the way I looked at it was, as a professional drinker, I wasn't an alcoholic. I meet a girl, so I'm smoking crystal meth with some of the neighbors and stuff, and I'm going to work, and the funniest thing happened to me. The first day I hit that glass pipe when I was smoking crystal meth, I have never touched alcohol again. I go to prison for almost 3.5 years on some other little charges and stuff like that. So I have this persona. I'm racist. I don't like to certain people. My cellie next to me is a real big black gentleman. He can see my aggravation that I really don't like colored people. So he says, anytime you're ready to come to my Bible studies, just let me know. I had nothing to lose. I got tired of being miserable, and I finally said to him, I'm like, hey, do you mind if I go to your Bible study? And this gentleman's like, because I figured it happened sooner or later, let's go. It's not just a matter of color of our skins or nothing like that. We're all the same people. No matter what color we are, we're all in jail. But yet at this time, I still have no idea that I'm an addict or an alcoholic. So the girl that I was with right before I went in, she picks me up from jail, and I have all these expectations, and this is going to be that and this and that. And we go to her apartment out in Mesa, call my dad, hey, I'm feeling great. I'm out of prison. I ain't going back. This is all, you know, I'm feeling good. I'm sober. She leaves for work the next day. I took her money, and I walked from Mesa for about 30-something miles all the way to the opposite end of town to go get high. I'm a professional user. I can stop when I want to stop. Because remember, like I said back when I went to that AA meeting, hey, it's willpower. If you're going to stop, you can stop, right? I was facing 15 to 90 years in prison. And once again, I'm in jail again, praying to God to help me through this, take these charges away, right? And this program called CA comes in, which is Cocaine Anonymous, comes in, and man, I'm signing up for that. Let me sign up for that. All for the wrong reasons, of course. Not just because I wanted to go get better or nothing. I just wanted to get out of my cell. Me, I'm a clown. Anytime I'm around anybody and I'm not using, I'm a clown. Straight clown. I like to be, you know, humorous, have fun, and stuff like that. So we're doing the readings, and I'm talking over him. And he stopped, you know, he didn't get vulgar or nothing. He says, there's not room for 2 of us in here. I had no idea what he meant. I'm reading these readings and something clicks in my head. I'm an addict and I'm an alcoholic. This gentleman tells this story, and I find it amazing how somebody could have all this clean time, bring a message into the jails every week on his time, not getting paid for it. And made me realize I need to get right. I need to get sober. I need to stop living this life that's a fairy tale, the wrong fairy tale. I go back to make amends back in New York last year, and I get off the airplane and they arrest me on the airplane. My family's freaking out, my loved ones are freaking out, all my people in the program here are freaking out, and I says, I'm okay with it. They're going, what? I said, I'm okay with it. It was making an amends for charges that I ran away from 12 years ago. I had to do 6 months, and a miracle happened when I was there because there was an amends I wasn't gonna make. I had the intention to, but I wasn't gonna make it to my ex-wife because she's the only person that came and visited me while I was in jail. And I let her know that it wasn't her, that I was an alcoholic and as an addict. And all those sorries weren't really sorries. But I made that apologies to her, and we have a relationship today because of that, you know. And I wouldn't have done that if I didn't get arrested. You know, they say God moments, you know. But a lot of those people that seen me out there using back in the day, run into me today, and they're, man, you look happy. That's when I grab out and tell them, hey, you can have this also. I tell clients and stuff that I work with all the time and sponsees and stuff like that. Don't get that little bit of good happiness and that feeling on you and go brag about it. Because everybody's going to see it. And when everybody sees it, they're going to be drawn to you and they're going to want to know how you got it. Let them feed their own way into it. Then you can put their hand out to them. We can't force them to do anything. Working anything through our higher power is going to get us to where we are. And that's the only way we're going to stay sober.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
Ask the Messengers TV show has supported and saved thousands of people in the community from alcohol and drug addiction. Now, Ask the Messengers is in desperate need of being saved itself. Our damaged roof and interior repairs have caused us to put a halt to all of our programs. Now we're asking for your help. Please donate to our GoFundMe drive by going to AskTheMessengers.org so we can continue to help save lives.
Ask the Messengers is a nonprofit 501c3 organization.
Underage drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 deaths of youth annually. DWIHN, along with its provider partners, strive to educate young people on the deadly dangers of alcohol use and abuse. We teach youth about the dangers of drinking, especially when driving. If you are looking for resources to share with your loved one, give the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network a call, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help. More than 2.5 million Americans are addicted to opioids. The addiction is sometimes developed through the improper use of prescription painkillers. Using prescribed medication in ways or amounts not intended by a doctor is very dangerous. So it's important that unused prescriptions are properly disposed of. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, or for more information about prevention, treatment, and recovery services, or how to properly dispose of medication, contact the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help.
Hi, my name is Artesia Washington, and I'd like to welcome you to Irvine Newer Rehab, where we help you reach your goals of rehabilitation. So you ask, why choose Irvine? Now here at Irvine, we offer physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, counseling, aquatic therapy, and massage therapy, and we help build you back to your previous level of functioning. Give us a call, 248-415-2500, www.irvinenewerrehab.com.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri, encouraging all taxpayers to please take advantage of the several payment options available.
You can pay online by visiting the Wayne County Treasurer's Office website. Paying online is easy and convenient.
You can also download the mobile app and pay with your smartphone.
You can pay at one of 70 kiosks located throughout Wayne County.
And yes, you can always still send in your payments using the U.S. Postal Service.
If you have to visit our office in person, you must make an appointment by going to treasurer.waynecounty.com. It only takes a few minutes. Facial covering or mask is required and social distancing is observed. Your health and safety is very important to us. You can also email our office at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990.
Do you have a family member that is an alcoholic or an addict and it's causing you a great deal of pain and you're wondering, how do I support them without enabling them? Here are my suggestions. It is next to impossible to help an addicted person unless they want to be helped. That's a real fact. Another real fact is it's very difficult to help a person when you're very close to them. Say if one of my kids became a drug addict or one of my immediate family, it would be hard for me to be the primary person helping them. Even in my marriage, like me and my wife aren't the dominant mentor of one another. Sometimes I say to my wife, you've got to talk to someone else about that because I'm biased. I won't give you good advice. Same for me and her, you know, vice versa. So I feel like with addicts though, like I know loads of them. What I do is I go, this is what I know about not taking drugs. You have to admit there's a problem and that it's destroying you. You have to believe it's possible to stop and that there is another way of being. You have to accept help and do things differently. Now, if they won't do those things, then I kind of will go, all right then, well, there you go. Now, that's very difficult when it's someone that you really, really love. If it's your teenage child who you adore or your parent or whatever. But that's the fact, in my opinion. You know, the whole chain people to a radiator, lock them in a room, drive them to a rehab thing, I think it's limited returns. So for complete disclosure, I did have quite an interventionist beginning to my journey in recovery. People did go, you are going into rehab. The man that was my manager at the time was very influential, and the man that ran that rehab at the time, very influential. They really held some space, to use a therapeutic term for me there. But in the end, it's me who one day at a time did not use drugs because that was suggested. It's me who surrendered. I don't mean me in an egoic way, because whatever energy or power I found within me was granted to me by things that I can't begin to understand. But what I'm saying is, without my willingness, there's no way I could get clean. It's not my parents' fault that I took drugs, and nor is it your fault if your children take drugs, far less if it's one of your parents. So what you say to them, this is one of my phrases, I will help you to change, but I will not help you to stay the same. If you want help staying the same, i.e. give me some money, no chance. If you want help changing, I will help you to change, but you have proven that you are not the right person to come up with those ideas, because look at the ideas you come up with. So we're going to be getting those ideas elsewhere. Then you don't try and be in the nomenclature of 12-step recovery, their higher power. You find someone else. If it's a person who's got a problem with drugs, find someone who doesn't take drugs. If you're a person that you're concerned about drinks too much, find someone who's stopped drinking too much. Or whatever the problem is, find someone who stopped doing it and say, can you help this person, my dependent, my whatever it is? They'll do it because they have to, because essentially addiction is the call. The destruction through addiction is the call that the material world is never going to work for you ever again. It's over. You have to find spiritual solutions. You can find a measure of happiness with a material life. But I mean to say, even if I don't mean religious, I mean sort of spiritual, as in your inner life must be well regarded. Your self-care must be monitored. The things that you value must be scrutinized, and help must be sought. A path must be found and then walked. But the fact is that enabling, as the word suggests, means that you make them able to continue on with their drug use. So sometimes the very definition of tough love is required. Like, listen, I can't communicate with you. You're not getting no more money out of me. No, you can't stay at this house unless you commit to change. I will help you to change, but I will not help you to stay the same. That's what I've learned from being around them, that they have to become teachable. And if they're not teachable, they will carry on that path, and you have to let them, because you are not God. So, and that's a horrible thing to accept, not being God. I'm still struggling with it. But for now, I've got this wonderful Technicolor dream shawl, and that's, it's enough for Joseph, and it's enough for me.
We'll be right back with more of Ask the Messengers.
Ask the Messengers TV show has supported and saved thousands of people in the community from alcohol and drug addiction. Now, Ask the Messengers is in desperate need of being saved itself. Our damaged roof and interior repairs have caused us to put a halt to all of our programs. Now we're asking for your help. Please donate to our GoFundMe drive by going to AskTheMessengers.org so we can continue to help save lives.
Ask the Messengers is a nonprofit 501c3 organization.
If you or someone you know is battling with any type of cancer, you need to read the book by Laverne Moore Slaughter, God Encounters Are Real. In her book, she tells how through prayer and faith, God healed her and set her free from stomach cancer. For more information and to get your copy, visit www.encountersarereal.net.
Underage drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 deaths of youth annually. DWIHN, along with its provider partners, strive to educate young people on the deadly dangers of alcohol use and abuse. We teach youth about the dangers of drinking, especially when driving. If you are looking for resources to share with your loved one, give the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network a call 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help. More than 2.5 million Americans are addicted to opioids. The addiction is sometimes developed through the improper use of prescription painkillers. Using prescribed medication in ways or amounts not intended by a doctor is very dangerous. So it's important that unused prescriptions are properly disposed of. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, or for more information about prevention, treatment, and recovery services, or how to properly dispose of medication, contact the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help.
Hi, my name is Brenda Owens. I work at Greenfield Hair Collection, and I love doing hair. I've been doing it for almost 30 years now, actually. And I do a little bit of everything. This style right here is a pin curl. This is my weekly client, Lenise, short and sassy. She just got a fresh haircut last week. The name of the salon is Greenfield Hair Collection. We're located on Greenfield between Outer Drive and Curtis. I'm on the second level. My name is Brenda. My phone number is 313-729-8194. Give me a call. I love what I do.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri, encouraging all taxpayers to please take advantage of the several payment options available. If you have to visit our office in person, you must make an appointment by going to treasurer.waynecounty.com. It only takes a few minutes. Facial covering or mask is required and social distancing is observed. You can also email our office at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990.
Unless you've been through it yourself, you cannot understand what a person is going through. I used drugs in high school, with my friends on weekends, stuff like that. It was a means of escape for me. My mother was an alcoholic. There was a lot of violence in my home. The emotionality of dealing with that on a daily basis was very difficult. What really sparked it for me was I was selling cars. I got into a car wreck on a test drive. I was prescribed painkillers. And taking painkillers took away my physical pain, but also my emotional pain. And that's exactly what I needed. My addiction went into cocaine, alcohol, meth, heroin. And at the time I was living with my father and my mother, and the alcoholism and the violence was still ongoing. So once I started using, it was over, All that comes with that, the pain, the turmoil, the powerlessness. And then I turned into the addict myself, and I hurt the people that I love the most. At the time, my fiance was begging me to get help, and I refused. I would do anything not to look at the pain inside of me, whatever that was. I was on the street. I actually wanted to go into treatment, and at that time, I remember I was arrested for trespassing and assaulting a police officer. I went to jail, and I was court-ordered to treatment, and that was the beginning for me. Prior to that, I'd been to treatment one other time. It did not work for me. It was a 30-day program. I was using shortly after that. I had lost my fiance, I lost where I lived, I lost my car, I lost my license. I was facing charges. I had to try to save my life, I never thought I was worth it. Just didn't believe in myself, just thought, I just might as well die, My fiance at the time had been trying to get me into treatment for quite some time, begging me, writing me letters, and I kept saying no. I would say, yes, I'm packing a bag, give me another day, whatever excuse I can come up with. It was just ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. He paid for my treatment. He put me into sober living, and he told me whether we're together or not, he knew the background of my life. He knew that I was a good person. And he said, I want to give you a chance at a life, whether we're together or not.
Won't you help us to do exactly what our motto is, and that is to help save lives? Won't you send a generous donation to the information there on the screen? We would love to have you as part of our partnership to help save lives. You may not be able to go out in the street, you may not be able to come here to the show, but you can send your donation that helps us save lives.
I got older as like a teenager and my mom started talking about how my dad was an alcoholic, and I was like, really? Like I never knew, because he didn't really drink at home, or like he'd have a couple beers maybe. I know there's a lot of alcoholism on my dad's side of the family, and then my mom's brother is an addict, heroin or meth or both, I'm not really sure, but you know, whatever the case may be, and I would get drunk and I would go walk the streets of like whatever part of town that I was in, and just find myself in like really bad situations. The bigger reaction I could get from people, the better, you know. My parents not really having experiences with it, like I think that they just kind of like believed what they wanted to. There was like a few times, like I remember them finding like drugs in my car. They were like, why do you have people in your car doing drugs? And I was just like, oh, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna tell them what they can and can't do, you know? I thought that they kind of suspected, and then once I like got into heroin, my dad kind of was like, no, like not my little girl, like she's not doing heroin, but my mom like knew. I think like a couple weeks after I turned 18, I got arrested. Anyway, it was like a really big deal, you know, and I was in jail and my car got impounded, and my mom was like, what is going on, you know? And I was just like, oh, my car got impounded because like I had speeding tickets, and I was like trying to lie. And I remember I was supposed to be picking up heroin for my friend's boyfriend, and I was like, oh yeah, I was my car got impounded because speeding tickets, and she's like, then why are people calling me and telling me that you're on heroin, you know? And I just couldn't keep it all straight anymore, and so I just was like, because I am. And after that, you know, my mom was like, you need rehab, and I was like, maybe I do. I just did like everything they told me to do, like everything. Got a sponsor, worked the steps, joined a home group, got service commitment, which was really uncomfortable, you know, like I wasn't used to doing any of that stuff. And it's crazy, like I remember really struggling with doing all of those things initially, and then like over time I started to look forward to it, you know, and I had like friends and I had people who cared about me, and I was laughing, and it just occurred to me, I was like, oh my God, I'm happy.
My dad doesn't have to defend me. My dad only has to love me, and my dad loves me unequivocally. I've been through some stuff in my life. I've been through some real stuff. I have fallen and I've gotten up. I've done esteemable things and things that have been in my life that I regret. Every single one of those things has brought me exactly to where I am right now, which is probably the best place I've ever been in my life.
We hope that the testimony shared on this episode today will give you hope to know that there is recovery. Recovery is possible. Doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States or the neighbor on the block. Doesn't matter. If you take that first step, recovery can be the way of your life.